Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to one of the best TV program, Excellence Impact, on High Television. High Television is one of the best TV stations here in the Southwest region, and it's always excited to be with you on Monday. Discussing for 1 hour 30 minutes, trying to impact our population, our society, and the world positively. And we have come again today. We know that each day, this 2024, from the beginning, Excellence Union International Group decided that it's a year to reach out to youth, students, and the local community. So that's their goal for this 2024. And today we are going to be discussing under the theme, Cameroon and African youth. Listen, you are the most privileged generation. Cameroon and African youth, listen, you are the most privileged generation. In the course of the program, we are going to be finding out why they are the most privileged generation, what makes them privileged, and if at all they know that they are the most privileged generation. And it's always an honor for us to have great personalities who have consumed themselves to light the society. I bring to you our guest for today. We have Mosoke Lucas Leonga, who is the General Coordinator of Excellence Union International Group, and he is a nation builder. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, happy Youth Week to all the Cameroonian youth and African youths. We are here because we have the youth at heart. So thank you so much. Just follow that which you get from this platform today. Thank you.
You're welcome. We also have Doris Ong, Executive Director, Royalty World, Community Transformation Leader. It's a pleasure to be with you. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the team. And it's always a pleasure to be on this platform because my heart beats for the young people. And I'm looking forward to us having a conversation, learning, and inspiring somebody out there to take action in the community.
All right, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we all know that we are soon going to be celebrating the 58th edition of the National Youth Day. It was launched this January 31st to the 1st of February there in the Central Region by the Minister of Youth and Civic Education. So we are going to be celebrating the 11th of February here in the Southwest Region and in the rest of the world. So we are going to be talking more about that and also talking to the youth today. But I will start with this question. Looking at our topic, I will start with you, Mr. Mosoke, that the Cameroon and the African youth, that they should listen, they are the most privileged generation. Why are they the most privileged generation?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So many people have written to me to ask, what do you mean by the African youth or the Cameroonian youth are most privileged generation? I think when you are living in the age of information and communication technologies, you are the most privileged generation. It's an age where the whole world, the entire world, the globe is connected. So you don't need to displace yourself physically in order to get that which you need. You can just sit at the comfort of your room with your laptop or with your phone and the connectivity of the internet, and you will be able to get that which you need. So it's the most privileged generation, a generation that is connected, and you can get whatsoever you wish to get if you are truly serious to get it, because of the internet, which is one of the greatest tools, one of the greatest discovery of all times, is available during this generation. So it's the most privileged generation, and you can make it at any time if you wish. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. I'll just go to Doris Ong. Are you also in line with what Mr. Mosoke said? Maybe you have something that makes them privileged?
Yes. The first thing I'm going to say is knowledge. It's a privileged generation because even as a Christian, I realize that there is an evolution, there is a greater revelation and in-depth understanding of our identity in Christ. For me personally, when I was a Christian, if I understood the things I understand now about what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be a spiritual being, I would have been so much more different. And that's what switched and changed my life when I came to understand some realities, understanding realities even about our origin as Africans, because there are a lot of lies that we were told in the beginning that in a way thwarted our mindset. But I think the young people in this generation are really blessed, and there's a lot of exposure to truth. that youths are consuming, they are awakened, the barriers have been broken through knowledge, and people are coming more and more to the understanding of what humanity really means, what it means to be human, that how powerful we are because we have God working in us.
All right, thank you. Knowledge, technology, and we have God. So we are the most privileged generation, like this said. Okay, we are celebrating the 58th edition of the National Youth Day. I just want us to talk about that before we talk other things. Mr. Musoke, how relevant is this day in the life of the youth, Cameroonian youth?
Yes, you know, a day in itself is not relevant. It is you who make a day to be relevant to you. No day is different from the other day. Whether you call it 11th of February or 30th of March or whatsoever you can call a day. A day is made relevant by the individual, by the person. It's how you use a day that's what makes you to be relevant. But I think that the day is being celebrated to remind youths that they have a duty, to remind youths that the government have you at heart and has set aside a day. Maybe the day is just there to remind them that you as youth, you are important, you are agents of change, you are agents of transformation, you are agents, you are leaders, not leaders of tomorrow, but you are leaders of today. We can only call you your leaders of today. If you cannot lead yourself today, then you should not be talking about the future, because the future might not even come. So you are the leaders of today. You should build up your life, you should develop your life personally, you should develop your career, and you should be able to understand that as youth, you are supposed to be responsible. So it's a day that is coming up for youth to reflect again about their youthfulness. Are they actually maximizing their youthfulness? Are they actually on the right track or on the right side of history? Are they on the positive side of history? What is it that they need? It's a reflection to understand that tomorrow they will no longer be youth. They will be very old men and women turning around. So today that they are young, they should be able to maximize. So I think the government is on track to remind the youth. Every year you have a day, even if you don't treasure that day or you don't value that day, but it's a reflection to tell you that you are a youth. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your career? What are you doing to build a future that is going to make sense? Are you actually exploiting the fact that you are young and do those things that you must do when you are young, so that by the time you are getting older, you are already settling down and you have done your job? Many people squander their youthful age, their youthful era, and today they are regretting. But you can no longer be youth again. You have missed it. So we don't want the youth of today to miss it. They should be able to sit down, reflect on their life, draw a plan for their life, have a blueprint for their lives, and be able to fulfill and accomplish it. They should have a vision for their life. Many youth don't have a vision for their life today, but I think that with this program we are telling you, you're supposed to have a vision for your life. You're supposed to be able to focus on solving problems that are existing in the world today. You should be able to bring solutions, be creative, be innovative. Above all, be a leader, because youth are supposed to be leaders. Very, 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 very important. So let me say that the Youth Day is relevant according to how the young person makes it to be relevant. If you don't make it to be relevant, it will not be relevant for you. Those who will make it to be relevant for themselves, they will see the relevance of the day. So that is it. And that is the way I wish to say it. So it's not the day that matters. It is what you do, what you wish to accomplish as a youth. That's what matters. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm coming to you, Doris. This day, we are looking at this day. The government used to do some build up to those days, some activities that used to get themselves involved before the 11th of February. Do you think what they are doing is okay? Do you think there's something that they can add to it that would be more relevant in the life of the Cameroonian youth?
Okay. I think that youth move with activity. Youth are animated by activity. They are engaged by activity. I remember in those days, right? You know, you will not sleep. Towards that youth day, there are a lot of singing, competition, and all of that. How I will interpret that is that it awakened youths to the potential that they have. So I encourage those activities a lot, because that was during that period in time we were able to identify whether what we could do was play play football, whether yours was to play handball, whether yours was singing, dancing. It encouraged talent to be exploited, and I think that it is very, very relevant for youths to understand that what they have matters, because it's a platform to do everything that maybe Mr. Musoko is talking about. That place of taking responsibility, which is another thing that I feel that it's crucial for us to engage youth in activities, because I understand that it's a National Youth Day. National Youth Day means that for me, I will always talk to young people to understand that they are leaders, they are what they have been waiting for. We are that generation that we have been waiting for. And as young people, we have complained a lot about the things we don't like. But guess what? We have the solution in us. Each and every one of us has something to offer. And when we are called up to be given responsibility, to be given opportunities and platforms to showcase our gifts and our talents, it is an opportunity for us to realize that what we have, we can use it to create meaningful impact within our community. So for me, I believe that we should engage youths more in carrying out projects. Those activities were good, but can we now engage youths to carry out some meaningful projects during this season that can leave an impactful mark within the community? Say, for instance, make them become conscious of what do you use your youth day for? Can we clean up our community? Now we have a situation where maybe in the southwest region there's death on the road. Can this youth day be an opportunity where we gather youths together to say, hey, let's come on one platform and as young people brainstorm on the solution for waste management? Because they say adversity is the mother of skill, right? It is the womb for innovation. So when we are in this situation where things are not going the way we want it, when there are problems in the community, it's placing a demand on our innovative and our creativity skills. So I think that during this youth week and youth season, that those are opportunities that we as community leaders should start engaging the next generation to sit down and reflect, as Mr. Musoko has just said, sit down and reflect and be able to build innovative and social entrepreneurial ideas that can transform communities. That's what I can add.
Okay. The president is encouraging youth, Mr. Musoke, to be active in economic growth. How can this youth be active in economic growth? How can they go about it? Because that's part of the theme, and they are encouraging them to be part of economic growth and to also encourage home consumption of home products. Do you think it's in line with what the youth are actually want now? Is that what they need?
Yes. I think the president is on point. A nation is built through entrepreneurial activities. A nation develops through entrepreneurial activities. All the giant investment that we have all over the world today, they are the ones that have made nations to develop. Even the United States of America. Politics does not develop a nation. Noise making does not develop a nation. It is investment. It is economic investments, that business investments that make a nation to develop. It is mega investments that make a nation to develop, and how a nation uses its resources to transform the resources, make products available. That is what actually make a nation to develop. So the president is making the young people to understand and to be alert that for you to have a meaningful impact, you have to contribute your own economic contribution, which means that the youth are supposed to study and understand that business activities are important, to understand that entrepreneurial activities are important and very, very important. When you read the history of the 500 largest businesses in the world and the history of the 200 to 300 great leaders in the world, you realize that to be a great person, it has to do a lot with vision and entrepreneurship. When we talk here of entrepreneurship, we are not necessarily talking about business, but we are talking about carrying on activities that will lead to meaningful results and meaningful outcome. So youth are supposed to be involved in activities that are going to lead them to meaningful outcome. Those meaningful outcome could be economic, could be technological, could be a communication or media wise. Those activities could be arts, they could be entertainment and so on, but they should make sure that they are involved in economic activities, because all these activities have their link on economic factors, because the end result is that people wish to make income, which again they will be using to invest and to probably save and so on in order to grow in life. So I think the president is on track to call youth and help them. That is why youth study economics. Economics is studied so that you should understand, at least, we are not saying that everybody must do economics, but at least it's a subject that most people have done, and it gives you at least an enlightenment on how you can manage activities and make sure that you have result, you have profit, you have benefits, you have gains at the end. So you should have that mindset. That's how the president probably is calling them. Economic activities are important. Youth get involved. Youth understand the economic nature of Cameroon, understand the tax nature of Cameroon, understand how the Cameroon economy functions. It might have faltered in many ways. You now can come in and correct it in your own little corner, and your positive contribution can bring a change, can bring an alteration, an adjustment that can lead to a better future. So youth, this is a challenge, it's a very big challenge that youth needs to embrace, to be able to contribute economically to the development of their communities, and why not the development of their nation. But again, all this boils down to one thing, that you have to develop yourself positively. You have to develop yourself, personal development. Then you also have to develop your career in the line of making sure that you contribute positively to nation building. Yes, so youths are supposed to be involved in economic activities. Thank you.
You're welcome. The way our economy is structured, Doris Ong, the youths, do they have opportunities to be part of it?
Absolutely. I think there is a specific comment that has come out that it's not politics that develops a nation. It is not necessarily systems that develop a nation. I don't believe in that anyway. The systems are important. The constraints are important. It's important to look at the systems that we have in place and think about them. However, I would say that when our focus become opportunity, we will see opportunity. So where is our focus? And that is what I would want to focus on in this in responding to that question. I believe that there is opportunity. There's so much opportunity in this nation. There's so much opportunity. I'm going to stay on the example I just gave about trash. Just the fact that we can cry and complain every way we know how. Oh, Isakam is not passing on the road to collect trash. But do we realize that there are economies that are being fueled only by understanding proper waste management? Now that idea is in so many young people who are out there looking at me today. You know what to do with waste. God has given you some wisdom and is teaching you and helping you to know how to be able to get into trash cans and identify the resources there that we can use to build products and to create, I can say, a green enterprise. So it is possible for us to look around us. There are resources everywhere around us. If we focus on discovery, if we focus ourselves on the fact that the opportunities exist, it's a mindset. We can choose to say that there are a lot of problems in this country. Oh, the economy does not permit us. Oh, there are no benefits. No, the government does not give subventions. All of that. There are external factors. You cannot control that. But one thing nobody can also take away from you is your creative ability. If you decide to start making something out of the resources that you have, yes, you tell me that, oh no, taxes will stop us and all of that, but the truth is, most of the time it's a hearsay. Somebody told you that the taxes are high, but you've not taken the time to do the research for that. So I would want to really emphasize on the fact that resources are all over. Resources are in the trash. Resources are on those trash that we pass every day along the road and we see. Therein lies the ability for us to create. We need social, innovative ideas that are concrete. You know, there are a lot of people who are just waiting for us to come up with concrete things, and they would support us for us to take the step first. But one big thing is we always focus on what are the hindrances. No, the economy does not permit us. No. I say again, those are external factors. Focus on what we have, focus on what the resources we have, and start making something out of them. When you meet an obstacle, you will know how to do about it.
All right, you should focus, okay? But I will just add to what Doris said before I asked my question that I want to ask to Mr. Musoke. Like you mentioned, the waste management. Green thinking is a project that one electrical and computer engineer in Lebanon, is 23 years of age, came
Imagine.
out, recycle,
just 23,
recycle the smart way, and it's making waves. Everybody is engaging in that because he saw the problem that you have been bringing up, and it's a problem here, especially here in Boya. Now I come to you, Mr. Musoke. We have a lot, like here is a TV station. We used to see so many young people coming up. I have developed this app, I've developed this app, I've developed this app, but we hardly see the results. I don't know, it is like it's hanging somewhere, it's not landing on the ground. What could be the problem? That we have smart young people, but you cannot go and you see something that they have done to even stop the traffic. We hardly solve problems. What is the problem?
Yes, I think I explained the problem here last week. And for me to come back to it, it still comes back to this. You know, there are two factors that are responsible for that. The first thing which I said last time is that Cameroonians are too individualistic and wish to work as individuals. Most people that have made it in life work in a team.
True.
And they bring their ideas together, they come up with discoveries, or they create things, and they work as a group, as a team, and develop the strategy on how to be able to bring this thing to fruition. Now, that ideology is actually lacking in the Cameroonian community, and which I said, people wish to be selfish, sole proprietors, work alone, and try to make a name. I am the one, not knowing that to be great, it needs people. We need to be with people, and people that also have potential and connection, and that can source for funding and so on. Now, that is one factor. The other factor is the fact that we have a governmental system that has not put in place competent structures that are honest enough to be able to harness some of these discoveries and so on. There is a lot of joke. I know the Ministry of this Employment or whatever. At the end, nothing will be done. And for that reason, you cannot rely on government for certain things. If you want them to really work, you are supposed to rely on other great and giant investors that may be interested. Because let me tell you, there's what we call research and development. Most of the time, people do research, they do the initial state of development, but to develop a product that is going to sell and become so prolific and influential, it requires a lot of investment. It requires a lot of investment, which in many cases, these individuals do not have or do not know how to go about developing what they have so that it can be actually pushed into the global market. And it also at times requires a lot of funding. But not all cases. Some cases don't require a lot of funding, but some cases require a lot of funding and good exposure so that it can really be pushed into the global market. But as I said again, the greatest hindrance is this issue of people being selfish. When you have something, you want to hide it. You don't want people to know that you have it, because you think that you benefit alone, not knowing that when you bring other people, they have other ideas that you don't have. They know funding sources that you don't know. They know how you could go about pushing that issue into the market that you don't know, and they know how you can even better develop it to be more useful into the global market. But you may have your small idea and think that you have done it, whereas it has not even reached the stage where the global market can consume it. And because you are selfish, you end it. So there is this selfishness, and there is this inability of government to be able to have reliable structures that can actually push youth and say, you have this, we are going to work as government to make sure that this thing is developed and is pushed to the market. I've seen so many scenarios in Cameroon, even high scientists that have great ideas. They come up, the government is not able to push anything forward. They struggle on their own, at the end they are not able to do anything. They go on retirement without even doing anything. I've spoken to so many of them. They say because of lack of funding, we cannot push many things forward. And even when you want to push it with respect to funding from the West, they give you a lot of conditions that at the end you may not benefit anything from it. So there is that difficulty, there is that difficult space. That is why only sole proprietorships are flourishing. And how far can you go with sole proprietorship? How far? You can just do a few things around and you end there. But if you want to hit the global market, you need others to work with you. You need other experienced persons to work with you. And you people can now work together and push this forward. So as I'm saying this to youth. You are too selfish, Cameroonian youth. Stop this issue of being selfish and desiring to work alone. Get other people on board. Consult others that you know may have a contribution. Bring it to the table. Don't desire to benefit alone. The fact that you wish to benefit alone is what has made all of you to miss it. And today you have something in your cupboard and you don't want anybody to see it. But you want it to go into the global stage. No, that's not how you work.
I have a question for you.
Yes, that's briefly, yeah.
This person says, greetings, Hi TV. I wish to tell Mr. Musoke that I have about 4 projects on different tables and nothing has been done about it. It has never been realized. We have those projects that we write, we have those ideas, but like what I've noticed recently, there is always no result. And also, Mr. Musoke should elaborate on time management. I need that lecture. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think if he has projects, he would have even mentioned one. Because we just say you have projects in the air. You may have a project to go and rape young girls. That's a bad project. You may have a project to go and scam. That's a project. But so please, when you are saying that you have projects, I wish that you should at least mention one of the projects so that we should look at what you are trying to say. Don't just say you have projects. It doesn't really make much sense. You just claim like that. But let me just say something about the issue of time management, which is trying to say. Time management is a whole a topic or chapter or program on its own. But I will say one thing about time management. One thing about time management which you need to know as a young person is that you can only better manage time when you have goals, you have objectives, and you have laid down plans that are well programmed, so that it is those activities, those goals, those objectives, and the rest. That is what constrains you to be able to manage time. You cannot manage time in space. You manage time with activities, with issues at hand, with projects. So the only way to easily manage time, I will come back to this some other time, is to be able to have activities that consume time. So that each of these activities is programmed and the time is going into those activities. You cannot manage time in space. So that is it, young man. I will come, we'll have a session on this board that will talk about time and growth management. We'll talk on that simply, and let us give you people the techniques so that you should be able to know. But above all, it's activities that consume time. If there are no activities, there are no goals, there are no objectives, there is no plan, you waste your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can only get that on Excellence Impact on High Television, and the number is on your screen. You can just send us your message if you have any question through normal SMS, through WhatsApp. It's okay. We are going to read it out. I'm coming out to Doris Ong. All right, you are a transformation leader, royalty world. I want us to talk a bit about women. Are women also part of development? Are they actively involved in developmental projects, especially in Africa and Cameroon?
Women are, I would say that they are pivotal in the transformation process. I'd say that they are a very, very vital pillar, because they have the capacity to nurture. Not only nurturing, they have the capacity to produce. They have the capacity to influence the different categories of human beings. By that I mean, the family unit, they are the center of it. The children, they are the center of it. Their husbands, they are the center of it. So women are, you can't develop a society without focusing on the woman. The woman is the engine of any society. So if we want to really truly change society, we have to work with women. And I'll go to some of the points that were just raised about what is killing the African youth, that individualism. I believe, for me, I understand that the government has its issues, but I will not focus too much on that, because I don't focus on the things I cannot control. I would rather focus my attention on the things that I can do. What is it that I can do in the process? And most of the time, I realize that women have that ability. With us, we know how to work together. It's challenging. We have our issues, but I find that women, it's easy for you to really bring women. We are running a cooperative down there in Bolifamba, because we believe that if the women come together, they can do business together. They can be able to transform their farm products into some finished goods that can yield more revenue for them. They'll get more from Gari and from Waterfufu than they'll get from cassava. And that can be achieved when they come together. When they come together, they exchange resources. When they come together, they exchange ideas. When they come together, people are more inclined to support a group than to support an individual. Because you can trust the group that if one person fails, another person can be able to come in there. And so I really believe that the woman is central. If we invest on women, we are investing in a nation. So women are very, very, just to answer that question, you cannot develop a nation without the woman.
All right, Mr. Musoke, we're always talking about the new paradigm shift, which is technology. I want to say the Cameroonian youth, okay? We have a lot of institutions, professional institutions here, where this youth can specialize. But why is it that after this specialization, after graduation, after getting all the skills, they still go and start looking for jobs in offices?
Yes, actually, as I said the other time, for me to come back to it, I said there are levels of professionalization. There are levels. Most of our schools in Cameroon are still around the level 1 and 2 of professionalization. So it makes it in a way that, depending on the course, on the professional route that you choose, some of them, because of the level at which you've studied, as I said the other time, I say it's very costly to put in place a professional institution of international standard. It's worth billions upon billions of dollars, which most of the professional institutions that we call professional institutions don't have such resources. Even governments in Africa, most of them don't have. For example, when you are actually training people on issues that to do with mechanic, For example, you see, we have very limited garages or garage systems here. Even in our secondary schools where they do auto mechanic, for example, the people are so limited. But when you do auto mechanic in a place like Japan, you go through big companies and you see how cars are manufactured. You see how cars are mounted. You see everything. And you will be able to know what it means to manufacture a vehicle. You not only know how to repair the engine of a vehicle, but you see all type of engines and you know the parts. You know how many parts a vehicle has. These are little things that if you ask some of these guys who have gone to this hour, they may not be able to tell you. So what am I trying to say? I wish to say that our professional institutions are very limited because they don't have the infrastructure and the facilities that they were supposed to have to actually be qualified as professional institutions. That's why I say there are levels of professionalism. So most of the professional institutions around, they are of the lower level. It means that the exposure rate of the graduate is low or is not actually as such. So the graduates in many situations need to start from somewhere, and in some cases they may have to start with a job before they grow and eventually develop their own means. Some, depending on the type of training, they may have to create a business already on their own everywhere on campus, and by the time they are graduating, they already launch out and they are entrepreneurs and they work in their own business. So that is why I say that depending on the level of training, depending on the field of studies, some graduates may have to go and work. For example, if you are trained as an auditor, you are supposed to go and work in an audit firm, for example, to build up skills and build up experience, to become a accountant, for example. You cannot be that in a school or start your own to become a statutory accountant. No, you have to go through at least the firms or some work in some banks or whatsoever for you to become. So you have those different type of trainings. But the problem which we have, I wish to say it again, is the fact that we don't have multiplicity of companies and firms. It means that the number of companies are instead reducing and closing doors instead of multiplying and increasing, so that when the graduates leave, they should have at least that first landing point where they gain experience before now they can move to other things and also do their own things in life. So that is it. So it depends, as I said, the type of training you've gone through and the level at which you were trained. Some levels you don't need to go and work or look for a job. You have been trained to a level where you can create, you can innovate, you can create jobs for other youths and build your company, build your small organization and start working and growing there. But other type of trainings, you may not have the ability at that time to just start. You need to go and work somewhere, expose yourself, gain experience before you can move and start your own initiative.
Okay.
Okay, you can add before
Yes,
I go to...
I think that that's a very, very important subject. I teach in the Higher Institute of Management Studies. It's a business school, and we realized that this was an issue in the sense of how do youths transition. I think most institutions don't focus on that. We need to be able to prepare the young people to transition from theory in classrooms to the marketplace. And most of the time we don't do that because there are several aspects that need to bridge that gap. The first thing is leadership. Most of our young people don't even know, they don't have that sense of initiative. They don't even know, they are young people, they've never had any exposure, any experience, anything. They don't even know what they are left from their right. I'm talking about even their own personal, managing themselves personally. That's why you see a lot of young people are living these days. They finish a degree program, the first thing they're looking for is masters. In our time, we did not know masters immediately after first degree. You go, you work for someone. When you work for someone, I'll take the Nigerian context. The reason why Nigerians are flourishing is because they have understood the power of apprenticeship, which is the second thing for me. So the first thing is leadership, the second thing is apprenticeship. We as Cameroonians don't understand. Everybody wants to be a boss. Yeah. We are in that generation where everybody's a CEO. Everybody comes in from their own little closet. You want to be a CEO. You're not ready. You're not ready. You need to work for somebody first. You need to learn, make the mistakes in another person's own organization. I don't care how much you know. It's important for you to humble yourself, go and look for a job. I tell my students that I teach entrepreneurship, but I tell them when you finish here, go look for a job. You're not ready to start that business because entrepreneurship It's not just starting and making Ankara earrings and selling them. No, so there's a lot more to that. There is a level of mediocrity, which is why our economy is where it is, on one of the questions that you asked, because there is no focus in quality. We have no sense of excellence. There is no craving for quality products. We don't take the time to build. We don't take the time to plan. We don't take the time to strategize, to think, to allow ourselves to collaborate with others so that we can build something strong that can be competitive. Because we are so complacent and so focused on mediocrity, we don't bother too much. That's why we want to run. But we cannot run. It's a process. We all have to go through a process of growth. That's something that was mentioned. So it's very important for us, first of all, leadership. The second thing is apprenticeship. Let's humble ourselves to that. And it's only in that place where you gain the other thing, which is skills. Because you can't grow without skills. Theory is completely different from skills. The fact that you learn bookkeeping in school does not mean that when they put an accounting software before you and you are placed in an organization where you need to produce a trial balance, you do it. There's no guarantee. The fact that you did it in class with all those hypothetical scenarios does not mean that on the ground you'll be able to do it. So that's one thing that we must understand. There must be a bridge. We must invest in encouraging young people to become apprentices, to gain the necessary skills that they need, learn computer, do the right things. There are a lot of opportunities. I'm not in that thing that there are no opportunities. It's a lie. Because as an entrepreneur, every single day we are looking for people to employ. You're looking for people to do marketing. We sent out a marketing role, recruiting a brand manager. For 2 months, we did not really get anybody who is qualified for it. People are not applying for it. We don't get anybody that is qualified for it. So what is the problem? The thing is, we need to be able to invest in acquiring the necessary skills. And the schools need to make that happen as well, within and on campus. We just finished the Leadership Academy. Why? Because we recognize that our students need to understand leadership. If they don't know that, they will not know how to do their CV. They will not know how to do a life plan for themselves. How many students leave school knowing a life plan? That's why for us, we try to make sure that we include a life plan in the curriculum of students. So this again goes to maybe owners of institutions, because we're so focused on the money that we get that we don't focus on the product that we're selling out to the markets. So we need to be able to remember that all these things we're talking about is down to us as well, the institutions, that we need to be able to tailor we need to understand the season where we are operating in our nation and tailor our curriculums to be able to align to the times we find ourselves in this nation.
All right, I have this very interesting one here. Maybe it has already been answered already. This one says, I don't think Cameroonian youths are being given opportunities. First of all, they will say, if they want to employ somebody, they will say 5 years experience, 10 years experience, somebody who is just coming out from school. And also we have elderly people who are occupying positions and are still there, old, and cannot even perform. So those are some of the challenges that they are facing.
I would say that it's a victim mentality. Trust me, I would address you straight. It's a victim mentality. There are a lot of opportunities. Youths don't want to take the step. They are just lazy, don't want to think. If I ask you the question, you will send in that message, do you have a CV? Most likely it's no. You don't even have a CV. Right? So how many jobs have you gone and applied for? Do you know what specific career path you want to follow? That's one of the things that you asked about career options. What specific career path? If you're not sure, because you ask youth the question, what do you want to become? I want to become an accountant. That's vague. What do you want to become an accountant? It's very vague. There are several different aspects of accounting. You want to become a management accountant, you want to become an auditor, you want to become a commercial accountant in a fast-moving consumer good. You need that specificity. Trust me, if you are specific and understand clearly, there's something that was just mentioned by Mr. Musoko about you cannot manage time when you don't have priorities and goals. Most of us don't know where we are going. We have not clearly identified where is it that I'm going specifically. You have not defined that I want to work as a brand manager within a fast-moving consumer good, within the fast-moving consumer good industry. And I would so you start identifying the different companies that exist in that sector. Nestle, all of them, and you start looking to gain skills or find a mentor that is working in that field so that they can mentor you. Trust me, if you take those little steps and acquire the right skills. Do you know how to do graphic designing? Have you been able to learn computer? Most of them leave school, you don't even know how. Some people don't even. I was surprised in my Bachelor of Technology class. That's people who are going to graduate, and the first time we took them into the computer lab, people are putting the mouse upside down, which means that they never held it before. Can you believe that? So it's a personal development thing. That's why I talk about leadership, because we need to push ourselves to grow. We need to grow. If we don't grow, we will complain about there are no opportunities, there are not that. That's why for me, I avoid talking about what the government has not done. I'm talking about what you have not done. What can you do to improve yourself? Because you have what it takes.
All right, Mr. Masoke, someone is asking, how can I go to school and also do a part-time job in Cameroon where we close schools? I'm not sure 6 to 6 that he wants to put in, or he or she.
True.
Yeah, I'm surprised that at this digital age, with a great shift, somebody is still talking about going for a part-time job. You need to sit in your house and work. We are in the digital age. That's why we say you should study. Most of you don't study and have knowledge and gain skills in digital opportunities. There are so many youths today that are making hundreds of thousands every month just by sitting in their rooms with their computer and connectivity. But you need to gain the skills. You need to gain these digital skills that are required in order to work online at the comfort of your room. So you don't need, at this, that's why I say you are the most privileged generation. At this privileged generation, a young man should not be talking about going to work. A young man should not be talking about going to work. Leave that one for the aged men. You are supposed to be digitally intelligent. That's why we should not miss word here. A young man of today should be extremely intelligent. From the digital point of view, you should be able to use social media platforms and make money. You should be able to use Amazon and make money. You should be able to use most of these giant digital platforms on Facebook and the rest and make money on your own by sitting. There are platforms like stocks, forex, and many other digital platforms. They may not be as easy as we are saying them or saying it, but you need to be trained, gain that skill within a very short time, and very soon you realize that you are experienced and you can make money at the comfort of your bedroom. And let me say something which most African youths are, most of my friends who are in the United States, they have told me that they are no longer studying nursing to go and work as nurses. What they do now is they study stocks and forex, and they are trading at home. At the time that they were supposed to go and wait to work in a clinic, they are making a lot of money now for themselves. And that is a shift in the 21st century. People replacing physical work with digital works. And you can work now at any time, at your convenience, at home, at night, at any time. So you should not be talking about going to work. Young man, tell me about studying and learning digital skills that will enable you to work at home. That is what you should be asking for.
They need to go to school to obtain this certificate, this qualification.
Sure.
Yes, they must go, and then we should not also cancel the fact that
they don't need to go to school to acquire these qualifications. These qualifications are studied online. There are many YouTube videos. There are many. Let them ask and let them contact us. We push these things to them.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to a physical classroom to study stocks and forex. No, you don't need to go to a digital to a physical classroom to study how to use social media to make money. All these things are online. There are videos that are training you on this. There are write-ups online for free. You don't pay. I'm not saying that people should not go to school. Yes, there is what you go and learn in school. Yes, but I'm saying that most of the skills that you need to operate many digital platforms or online platforms, you don't need to go to school to learn them. They are online. I learned most of these things for free online. Nobody taught me. So they don't need to go to a school. There are are some schools that might be teaching this thing, fine, good and fine. But if you don't have that opportunity to go to such a school, those openings are online. You can learn them online on your own and gain these skills. And by the time you realize it, you are already working online and making money on your own. Very, very important. So don't tell me about going to work, going to school, going to... No, we don't go again. We connect online. We connect. Say, tell me to connect and gain the skills. We are not downgrading schools. Neither are we going to downgrade them. But we say that there are other learning opportunities, learning strategies, learning facilities that are existing today. Let the young people exploit them. They are very cheap, or at times very free for them to exploit. So they can ask us, still contact us. I'll push so many of these things to you for free. You will not pay me. I'll give it to you for free.
All right. I quite agree with what you are saying. I think on Saturday I had a program here, and I was with one lecturer. She is a teacher, and then a lecturer. Sorry, she came and was saying that she had to go to school because she tried twice on doing a YouTube video and her lectures to send to students, and she was called up that she must be present in class. You see now?
Yes.
What Mr. Musoke is saying that is true, but this guy is saying that he is going to school and he's trying to look for another means where he can be going to school and working at the same time and making money.
Absolutely. I think that I encourage my students to go to school and have work, because as much as there is a digital age that is available, we're building a nation. We must learn how to work together and be able to connect physically. We cannot also despise those opportunities, like we were looking at it. We need nurses because people will get sick. We can't do nursing on digital, on digital platforms. Those digital platforms are very wonderful to have extra income. But I think that to answer that person's question, there are opportunities. It depends on what exactly you want to do and what you're studying. It's to connect maybe with mentors, and sometimes you can always have some part-time opportunities.
Don't say that I'm cutting you short. We have our workers here at ITV.
Right.
Most of them are they are going to do doing their masters.
Yes. I have several
they
master's
can no longer
students.
come to work because of the time.
Oh yes. No. Actually, yes. No, I think that is something that as institutions need to address that issue as well. Because I studied in Europe and I worked very comfortably while studying, and I was able to still achieve my goals. I think that is something that as an institution, because I myself, I was crying with my son the other day. He's writing just O-level. The boy goes to school from morning to Sunday. What is this nonsense? I'm sorry to say it the way it is, but I think that it is a little bit too much, because one of my proprietors said something. He said, these days the children's school bags are filled, but their brains are empty. Because if you choke them up so much with work hours, with school hours, they will not have the time. Because even when you're talking about the digital platforms, if you go to school 6 to 6, you come back, you are tired, you don't even have the time to go online and be able to do something, because you have to wake up again at 6 o'clock in the morning. The brain needs to rest. So I think that is something that institutions need to look into. We need to be able to look at our school programs and be mindful of the fact that some of these young people, we are building nation builders, we are building holistic beings, and we need to make room for them to have opportunities that they can go out and have part-time jobs that can support themselves. Most people that go to Europe and they do undergraduate, they never ask their parents for money because they are able to work, and then they can pay for their courses. So yes, to that point, I think that is very necessary, and it's something that institutions need to look into. However, there is still a way, because I am sure that in most institutions they will have a weekend or maybe have another day free, and you can still jungle in that time to have something to do. Yeah.
All right. African youth, Cameroonian youth are of this mentality of going to school after graduation, maybe go to an office and get a job, Mr. Musoke. That is what is in their mindsets, different from a Nigerian student who is trying to become an entrepreneur and trying to excel in whatsoever they are doing. Now, I wish you to talk about the importance of entrepreneurship in the life of youth, because they can become entrepreneurs even at a very little age. I remember when Father Kenze was here when he was still the president of the CUIB. In primary school, they started teaching entrepreneurship, and he settled each child with 10,000 francs when they are going for holidays. And when you are coming back, you tell the business that you have done and the profit that you have made with that amount of money.
Yes, the entrepreneurial mindset is a mindset that even parents at home should be able to teach their children. It's not only schools, because the first school that we have is the home. When the parents are not doing their job, they want to push it to the lives of teachers. Parents are the first set of people who have contact with their children. They should let the children know that they're supposed to be entrepreneurial, and they even teach them entrepreneurship at home. Entrepreneurial mindset is a mindset that we need to actually make it to be more intentional in our educational system from primary school, from nursery, primary schools, and make sure that the younger generation is entrepreneurial in their thinking. But the educational system has a problem, and this problem has not been addressed. You know, in the world in which we live today, you don't need to go to primary and secondary schools and learn all the subjects that you are learning. You don't need it. We need to come up with an educational system that is professionally oriented, that is technically oriented, from the basis. I wish to repeat, from the basis, so that within 10 to 15 years you are an expert in the domain. You don't need to go waste time that you are going to the university and the rest. Leave those people who wish to become lecturers to go to university and gain the knowledge that they need to lecture with. But other professions that you don't need to become a master degree holder, a PhD holder, and the rest to be part of, let those ones be retailored, reshaped, so that within 10 to 15 years you are already an expert in that domain, and you're working and you're doing your things. The educational system is in a way that they are bundled up everything, and it is non-productive. We have said this many times. Professors have decried the fact that the educational system is no longer yielding fruits. It needs to be completely overhauled, and something new be brought in place that will help Cameroonians to be more professionally oriented, technically oriented, and so on. We should not waste time. You have 5 papers, you have the number of papers and the rest, and you don't even know how to spell your name. So, what am I trying to say here? The entrepreneurial mindset is what has developed Europe and America. The professional mindset is what has developed China and India, that is developing today in terms of profession and entrepreneurship. And it is not something to be neglected. Professionalism, entrepreneurship, these are the mindset that needs to be inculcated in the lives of Cameroonian youth, especially children, as they are growing up. And the educational system should be transformed to actually match this. You cannot be saying one thing and the educational system is saying something else. There is a contradiction in that case. So the educational system needs to be overhauled. But somebody told me this, that it's very difficult. That for you to overhaul an educational system like this one, you need to train teachers. Because most of the teachers are not of that age, of that generation of technology, professionalism, entrepreneurship, and so on. They are theorists. So you need to train a new set of teachers that will be professionally oriented, entrepreneurially oriented, technically oriented, to drive that new generation. Then I asked the person, why are they delaying this? He says it's also government bottlenecks. Because when a nation is like this, it's easier for a government to manage and to manipulate. But when a nation is apt in entrepreneurship, in technology, in production, and the rest, it is the private sector that leads. It's the private sector that leads. The government has very little to say, because all the investments, all the giant projects are carried on by the private sector. So when you make a country like this, you empower the private sector. And many African governments don't like that. He made it clear. Many African governments don't like it. It is possible for them to do it, but they are too slow because they prefer an economic system where the government has an upper hand. But he explained something and said, look at the United States, the government does not have an upper hand. No, it is the private sector. Look at other countries in the world that are developed. It is the private sector that has an upper hand. It is not the government. The government has a say, yes, but it's limited. The private sector, the entrepreneurs, the investors, they have a greater say because they control the money. They control the economy. So these are some of the skepticism that most African governments have, and they prefer to be doing things so slowly so that the empowerment should not shift to the private sector, and they now become helpless. And you now see that is a fear that most African governments have. This information is coming from a professor. Take note, from a top professor that said they have been fighting for long to change the educational system for long, but it's very difficult. There are so many bottlenecks, and they cannot keep on wasting their time. They have done their best. So when the government is ready and wants to do it, they will do it. Thank you.
Especially in Cameroon, they kill a lot of talents. I used to see wonderful things that children used to come up. Even if you go to these vocational schools, they used to have a day, whether it's school business day, something like that. I've forgotten how the name of that day. You see what they do. If they could just be encouraged a little bit, I believe that will do wonders, and we'll have people, entrepreneurs that are doing wonderful things. I'm coming to you, Doris. There was a gender gap in information technology. I don't know if that gap, according to you, has been reduced or the gap is still very wide.
Okay, gender gap in terms of information technology. There's been a lot of work on that. You know, so many STEM programs have come up that are encouraging young girls to get into science, engineering, mathematics and technology. So the young girls are gradually being encouraged for them to pursue their dreams, irrespective of the domain, not to be limited by a particular field of study. So I think that gradually there is progress. I would say, particularly maybe for the community that I have around here, I see a lot of tech ladies these days who are thriving in their profession. So I think that there is some significant work that is being done in the area, but then, you know, there's still so much more to be done, and we keep encouraging young people, we keep encouraging girls to pursue their dreams, to go for it. And if that's your domain, that's your area of calling, pursue it. Don't be limited. You are not limited by.
Boys are now being left behind, and all the attention is being given just to girls.
Yeah, actually, you need to build a nation from a balanced perspective.
Absolutely. Which
means that as you are encouraging girls to study, the young men to also study, so that the young men should not think that they have arrived, but by the time they are thinking that they have arrived, they have not arrived, and they have realized that they have not achieved anything yet. So I think that it's if you are building a nation, you encourage everybody, whether you are a girl or you are a boy. You need to work hard in life. You need to be involved in nation building at your own corner. So to me, what I believe is the fact that everybody should be encouraged to work hard in life, whether you are a girl or you are a boy. Work hard in life, build your future, be able to contribute positively to nation building, and be able to encourage others to build their lives, whether you are a girl or you are a boy. Girls have challenges, boys also have challenges. Today we talk about career ladies and so on. Ladies are also involved. So it's a world whereby everybody should be involved in nation building, everybody should be involved in career building and so on. So I don't believe in a one-sided type of nation building. I believe in a total nation building, complete nation building, involving everybody, who is part of that nation. Whether you are a lady or you're a man, you should be involved in nation building and contribute positively in nation building. And I wish to encourage youths, whether you're a girl or you're a boy, to sit up. Youth should sit up. The opportunities are too many. There are more than, I said that there are billions of opportunities today. It's just that many of you don't wish to open your eyes. And permit me to say this again. I repeated this some time ago. Permit me to repeat again. I said, when you are going to the university, as many of you do today, young man, before you finish the university, assume you are going to take 3 years, you should have read at least 152 different books. It means that you must have read at least 4 books a month. Assume you read 52 books a year, then you have read 156 books before you graduate from the university. That is your true life. Those 156 books at least that you have read, that is your true life. It means that what is given to you in class is good, but that 156 books is the books that you have read about those who are part of your career, how they developed their career, what they did. You should also understand things that have to do with leadership and so on. So these books, this 156 books that you're supposed to read, that is the true you, because this is what you have gotten on your own. When you add this to the studies you have done on campus, you can never be unemployed. Most people are unemployed because they have not read these 156 books. Assume that you have read 152 meaningful books. Can you be unemployed? No. So that is what I teach many youths today. I say, you have your future at hand. Let the teachers do their own part. Let the lecturer do their own part. You have a greater part to contribute. Your 156 books, have you read them? At the end, you realize that they have not read a single book. Then you are crying that there are no jobs. When you read those 156 books, you realize that you don't need to go and waste your time that you are looking for a job. I'm not discouraging people who go and look for jobs. No, but I'm saying that there are some people that the way that they have already developed themselves, they are well able to do something new that will also bring other youths on their side and they move ahead. So that's what I wish to say. So this theory or this corollary of 156 books is what I'm encouraging all Cameroonian youths to embrace, especially those who are going to the universities. Read at least 156 books on your own before you graduate. You will not regret it. Thank you.
Okay, entrepreneurship in Cameroon can be done only on a small scale because of the environment in which we find ourselves. It is very tight. Not that youth are not engaging in economic activities, they are, but it's very difficult for them to excel in whatsoever we are doing. For Cameroon, hand to mouth, we will live. All right, thank you for your contribution, even though you did not give your name.
But again, I want to discourage that form of thinking. If we are going to grow as young people, or are going to build a different kind of nation, we should take the counsel that we are giving here, which is we have so many scattered ideas. The reason why we have small things, when you go into these big shops in Douala, you enter Mahima, it's not one person that owns it. It's not possible. They are a combination of people. I've studied and I've seen how the Indians work. I've seen how the Chinese work. They work together. Nobody, no nation grows by people who are individualistic. It's not possible. We must grow a social economy. We must learn how to work together. We must learn how to come together and to believe. We must be able to die to that ego of saying my thing. It's about me and me again. That's why we are doing this hand-to-mouth business. Hand-to-mouth is not our destiny. The truth is synergy achieves more. What you can do alone and your friend can do alone, when you get together, you can do times 3 the same capacity that you have been able to do as individuals. So it is very important that we learn how to mobilize ourselves, how to collaborate with one another, how to network. When you collaborate with one another, you used to know one person, but now together you people will know 4 people, because that other person will know 2 people. You know 2 people together, the 2 of you know 4 people, and that is how you grow a network. So we have to deal with this individualistic mindset. It's possible to work together, and we can only build a nation by working together. Even with us that are in the social entrepreneurial world, it's very important that we have the whole mindset of coming and putting our resources together so that we can be able to expand every venture that we are doing. So to me, I'll really encourage us to learn how to work together. It's possible for us to grow things. It's not necessarily, you must not do a business small. It's possible to grow businesses, but you can't grow it alone. You must grow it with people.
And that brings me now to what I want to ask Mr. Musake, because a lot of people have been scammed. A lot of people are down today, not because they were lazy, not because they have not tried doing things. It's because maybe they trusted the wrong set of persons. And now, I remember some weeks ago you brought the Cameroon Youth for Jesus, who came here, a lot of them all over the world, trying to evangelize and telling people about God, the fear of God and all that. We are celebrating the 58th edition of the Youth Day celebration, bringing morality in the life of youth. I want you to bring morality and to tell them that if no matter how you excel, I remember somebody made a statement here, if you go without Christ, I've forgotten that statement here on this particular platform on Excellence Impact.
Yes, when I wish to talk about the kingdom, it's a little bit different from the way so many other people perceive it. I hardly talk about morality, because morality is man and morality has its limit. The only person that gives you the ability to do good and to live a good life is Jesus Christ himself. So morality is just a way, it's just a camouflage, because when you have anything that is real, you have the counterfeit. Morality is a counterfeit of the true life in Jesus Christ. So whenever you have anything good which is coming from God himself, you always have a counterfeit. So I wish to probably talk to young people that they should surrender their lives to Jesus Christ and have a true life in God. That is what will make them to live a clean life. Because when you say you are a moral person, it means that there are certain things which you don't do. You don't smoke, you don't go after girls and the rest, but you do some other bad things. You are limited to some. But when you are in Christ, you are cut off from everything evil and wicked. So I prefer to talk to Cameroonian youth and African youth to surrender their lives to Jesus Christ, who is a savior of the world. And he is the solution. He's the only one that gives us power to live a Christian life. So when we talk about morality, it's a camouflage. It's a counterfeit of what Jesus gave us, which is the reality. What Jesus gave us is real, the kingdom of God. He gave us a true life. See, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No other person comes to the Father except through me. So I talk more on Jesus Christ. Okay. Yes. So youth should add Jesus to their lives and be assured of the fact that Jesus came for them. And that is the reason why the greatest problem that Africa is facing and that Cameroon is facing is the problem of religion. I told you the other time that I don't talk about religion, because religion is also a counterfeit to Jesus Christ. It's a counterfeit. It's man-made. Religion is made by man, but the kingdom of God is not made by man. So in order to counterfeit the kingdom of God, religion was created. And that is why Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is an integral part of the kingdom of God. Religion is that which is created by man, which has nothing to do with God, but it has to do with humans and society, social issues. That is the part of religion. But kingdom has to do with spiritual issues that has to do with God himself. So there are two things which I'm giving youths. I'm giving them the issues of the kingdom of God that is real. I'm giving them the issues of Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for all of us. That these are the areas that you have to use as your foundation. When your foundation is in Christ, is in Jesus, you are unshakable. From there now, you build yourself, you develop yourself, and you build your career, you develop your career. You are fine. So that when they come with issues that are not good, you don't go. For example, what is so prevalent today is the issue of homosexuality and lesbianism. Sexual perversion is what is so common today. It is everywhere today in the world. This is an evil that is gaining grounds, and many youths are already victims. So these are not things that you should laugh at, youth. Homosexuality, lesbianism, and all these sexual perversions, they are evil practices. Don't be involved. Better remain poor for the rest of your life than to get entangled into these evil satanic practices. I'm a little bit hard, and I need to be hard so that youth should be free. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you brought me to morality. I wanted to come to you, Doris. Most of our young girls, we are talking to the youth. I want us to talk now to the girls. Now they what they do most of the times now is they don't do anything. They just use their phones, like because it's just that the time is too short. I was to talk to Mr. Misoko because he said you can use your phone to make money, but until you use it the right way, because we also have people who are scammers and they use their money. They will have people who use their money to their phones to play jambos. I'm talking about these young girls now that don't want to do anything, and they believe that they can just use men to make money. Meanwhile, they are wasting their lives away. So are you as a woman, and I know you are a community leader, a transformational leader, and you deal especially with young girls, because I know of your organization, Reality World, to talk to these young girls.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. They are my heartbeat, and I run a program called Restore Her Dignity. Restoring the dignity of the woman is restoring her identity. Most of these issues are issues of identity. When a girl grows up not really understanding her worth, not understanding who she is, not understanding what God has put in her uniquely, she's vulnerable and she's exposed to a lot of these kind of things, and before you know it, they find themselves in places that genuinely, when you talk to them, you realize that they don't enjoy what they are doing. That's why I have a lot of compassion and a lot of empathy for young people, because I mean, as a woman, I've made my own mistakes, right? There are things I said I'll never do and all of that, but as I grow older, I come to realize that it is only God that preserves a person. It is only in Him that you can find the courage to live and live authentically. You know, you can only live fully when you allow Him to be the one that should live His life through you. And it makes me very, very humble every time that I have an opportunity to speak to a girl, not to condemn them, but to tell them that, you know, because the truth is, when you look at a girl that is in that place, that they have sat down and they are like, oh, you know, they're not going to do everything. When you dig down deep, you realize there's an emptiness. And that is why as older ladies, we have the responsibility to start building the younger ones. Excuse me, to start building the younger ones. We are planning to work on a lot of clubs within schools, to start dignity clubs in secondary schools, and that is one of the reasons why we really want to focus on starting dignity clubs within the schools, so that we can build girls to be holistic. We can build them up to become people who identify who they are. When a girl is strong in her sense of worth, in her sense of being a woman, there is no way where she will submit herself to depend on another human being to determine how her future should go. When you know who you are, you want that place of independence where there is no true joy in life if you don't find your purpose, and your purpose is in service. It's in serving another human being. It's in adding value to humanity. That is what work truly is. Because work is a beautiful thing. Work is not a bad thing. Work is a beautiful thing. I don't work for a living. God is my source. I work to give. I work to serve my community. I work to use my talent. You know, I love Genesis chapter 1. Recently, I've been meditating a lot on it. Genesis chapter 1 says in verse 28, it says that use all of earth's vast resources for the service of God and of man. Therefore, each and every one of us, the only way we will truly find fulfillment, you will never find fulfillment as a young girl if all you're doing is just sitting down waiting for somebody else to come and pay your bills. Trust me, there will be an emptiness. You can never be fulfilled like that. The greatest joy in life, you know, you remember when you go to the farm and you harvest your own cassava, right? is sweeter than any cassava that you can ever buy from the market. You harvest your own plantain. It is better than any that you can ever buy. So that's the same thing when you go to work and you are giving 5,000 francs because you were able to exchange your services for that 5,000 francs. The way you will use it, if somebody gave you 100,000 francs, is not the same value. So I just want to encourage young girls to realize that creation, the earth is waiting for us. For me and you, we have what it takes to develop our communities. We have what it takes to contribute to build companies, to build organizations, to build society as a whole. So we cannot sit down there and fold our arms and wait for somebody. It's just it's a lie that you're being told. So wake up from that lie. True fulfillment will come from you identifying what it is. Why are you on this planet? Who are you? Answer those questions. Why am I here? And if you can answer that and know that I'm here to serve, and then where am I going? And you see what great women have done ahead of you, and you also arise and say, I've got something to contribute to my community. I've got something to contribute to humanity. That is where true fulfillment, it's bigger than any form of money that you can ever get.
Wow, thank you very much for that. We are rounding up, Mr. Musoke. We want to get a summary of everything that we discussed today, a summary of the topic of today.
Yes, if there is a summary for the youth of Africa, I wish to say that they are living in the most privileged era of life. They are living in an era that everything has been made possible to enable them succeed, and no youth will have anybody to blame if they don't exploit the numerous opportunities that are available, especially in the African continent. All the youths that desire to go to the diaspora, let me tell you, you have a better chance to succeed in Africa than in the diaspora. The reason is because Africa is not yet well structured, and it's possible to take advantage of a continent which is not yet well structured than in a well structured economy or community where it's difficult to make it. In those communities, you have to work extremely hard in order to make it. But in an economy like the African economy, which is still not well structured, there are still a lot of loopholes. And these loopholes, wise youth could take advantage of them and be able to build their lives, develop themselves, build a career, and be able to have a vision that will reach out to other youths. So I advise African youth and Cameroonian youths that will be celebrating their Youth Day in a few days from now. I wish to advise all of you to take advantage of the opportunities that are available. Take advantage of the internet and her content. The content of the internet cannot be exhausted even in the next 1 million years. You have all what you need online. Those of you who talk about jobs, permit me to say this. There are more than 5 million graduates and intellectuals outside seeking for jobs in a country that can provide less than 500 jobs for them. Then you are still talking about physical jobs. Please, you must shift. That's why I say the recent shift, one of the greatest shifts today is the shift of information and communication technologies. You need to exploit information and communication technologies. You need to exploit the internet. You need to exploit the information and communication highway. There is just too much information that is available for free that you can access and build your future. For those of you that are going to the university, as I said, if you are making 3 years, make sure that each year you read 52 books. At the end of your studies, you must have read 156 books of your choice. Those books are the books that will give you the knowledge that you require. For example, you need to know the history of the topmost 500 companies in the world. You need to know the history. And within these 3 years, it's possible to read the history. And you see how companies developed. You need to know the history of the topmost 200 leaders in the world that have existed. By reading this, you are never going to be the same again. because this knowledge, this is transformative knowledge. There are some books that when you read, you gain knowledge that somebody took 50 years to develop. You gain it in 1 week. These are realities, and these are things that transform youth. So I encourage youth to sit up and to make use of the availability of information and the internet. Thank you.
You're welcome. And somebody is just said, I'm happy with the answer Mr. Musoke gave on morality. Thank you for watching the program. Also, thank those of you who are participating. Doris, you are giving a summary.
Okay. For the Youth Day, what I would say to the young people, in line with the topic that we're talking about today, that we are living in the most privileged generation. So my plea will be that don't stay poor. What does poor mean? Passing over opportunities repeatedly. Because I would say that there are opportunities everywhere. I gave a simple example of waste. We can think that is a problem. Within the problems that we are currently facing in our communities, if you look keenly, what is annoying you the most is because you carry the solution for it. And when you are a solution, when you become a solution provider, you start attracting opportunity. So, you know, John Maxwell says something, say, don't go for opportunity, grow into opportunity. So grow into opportunity and focus on growing. Focus on growing. The first thing is becoming aware of who you are as African youths, of who you are, that you have, there is so much that God has invested in us. Don't listen to any lies. You are not limited. You are not dull. You are not stupid. You are valuable. There is something unique that you possess. There's something so special that you represent to this world. And you know, there are no limits. The only limitations that you can ever have is those that are in your mind. Even the government is not a limitation. I don't see the government as my limitation. That's why I've decided, I've taken a whole community in Bolifamba and I'm running a community transformation project in Bolifamba. It's the boldness. Am I waiting for the government to come and tell me that no, don't do this? No, I tell the chief what we have to do in Bolifamba and he says, yes ma'am, go ahead. So you know, it's that boldness of realizing that you can wake up and adopt a whole community and decide that I'm mobilizing everybody, even Mr. Musoko here, I'm calling him every day to come to Bolifamba. Because if we are doing so many scattered initiatives in so many different places, but if we focus in one community and implement all these our wonderful initiatives, come up with a strategic plan. The reason we are not, you said something about Africa not being structured, but who is going to structure it? It's us. We have to make a decision and forget about the government and come and sit down on the table and say, okay, this is a community. Let's give a strategic 5-year plan for this community. What can you do? What can I do, Mr. Musoka? What can you offer? What is Royalty World doing? What are all those other organizations out there doing? Can we come to Bolifamba and then put our ideas together in one community, and in 5 years we see a solution and we get up and we go to Woyama Vuyo or whatever, we do the same thing there. We go to Tole, we do the same thing there. In the process of it, we are mentoring young people. The problem is there is a lot of information that is going out, but it is very scattered. It is not synchronized. That's why we're not seeing impact. So if we can come together in one community, which is what we talked about, and mobilizing our efforts, learn how to work with people. Put your efforts together with other people. You cannot achieve anything. If you want to go far, go with people. But if you want to go fast, go alone. But fastness will not take you anywhere. So go far working with people. We have a community to build. Let's become conscious of that, aware that we are building a community. It's not about my individual life or my individual mansion, but it's about the community that is being transformed as a result of me. So let's harness our energy. And I want to, you know, as this platform is an excellence platform, to encourage young people to take action. You know, have a vision, have a drive. Where are you going? Answer those questions. Who am I? Where am I going? And how am I going there? Use your resources. Take advantage of all the resources that are available. This platform, all the people that are coming here all the time, those are people that can support us. We can put our efforts together. We can build stronger communities. We can put our energies together, and we can determine that we want to build quality products so that we will not build mediocre products, and we can be able to build those large industries that we dream of. Our communities will not change in spite of us. It will change because of us. And it will not change because of us. It will change because of you. you particularly.
Thank you very much, Doris. Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa Lucas Leonga, who is doing everything in his power together with his team, the Excellence Union International Group, to make sure that they encourage everybody, not only the youth. We can come here today, we'll talk about the youth, tomorrow we'll talk about women, we talk about nation building and all of that. So we really applaud your initiative. We also wish to appreciate all those who participated during the program, and that's next week again is another rendezvous for you to join us again. And the rebroadcast of this program comes up at 9 p.m. Do well again to join us next week for another edition. And happy National Youth Day celebration coming up.